Hello again. This is going to be a video about my Russian bolt action army. I'm playing a game against a lad called Richard Bell, I think is his surname today. It's going to be a 1500 point battle. I haven't played that many points before. This is pretty much all of the Russians I have, all except the T-34-85, which not only is the turret stuck on it, but it's also not a very good paint job, so I might try and get the turret off and paint it up in the same style as my KV, which I'll show you in a minute or two. I'm going to go through each of the units I have, why I've chosen those units. Well, as I say, this is pretty much all of my Russians, so that's why I've chosen them, but how I hope to play with them, as in tactics, you know, what other units I hope that they will be able to take on and defeat, fingers crossed, as with any war game. It generally comes down to dice rolls and how lucky you are. So first up, might as well show you my HQ. HQ, Loki. He's got a couple of men with him, 2 men. I know that a lot of people like taking just one man with things like observers and officers. He's a senior lieutenant as well. And that gives you the +1 for the small team to beat when you get shot at. But I prefer 3 men. It's a little bit more firepower. If they get assaulted, it's another dice, and so on and so forth. I've actually modelled him with a pistol and an SMG. Just the next dice to shoot with, I believe. I think both are the same range, similar range, and both give you assault in close combat. Okay, I also have air observer, which I'm using a commissar for. There's my commissar. Might be able to tell he used to have a flag, but that was lost many moons ago. God knows where it is. But he stuck a new hand on. Again, he's going to be joined by 2 men. 2 bog standard infantry. Actually, I'm having to proxy his attendance, his entourage, with a couple of Americans. What my Americans look like. I've got them on clear bases, just because I fancy doing an army on clear bases, and that way, you know, you can play them on whatever board and don't look out of place. Yeah, it works. Well, it works for me. Okay, now that's the 2 officers out of the way. I have the 3 rifle squad. Just show you one of those. These are the first ever miniatures I painted for bolt action. It was a few years ago, and they're not that good. Well, the whole army's not that good really to do the spruce up, but they do on the tabletop anyway. So there's riflemen. With 12 of those bad boys. In previous games, they've done well, just running straight for the enemy and taking pot shots here and there. It's normally 7s to hit anyway with those guys, so whatever you get is a bonus with guards shooting, and then get them into close combat. If you've still got, you know, 8, 9, 10 models left when you get into close combat, yes, your opponent's killing on 3s, but if you can attack first, then, you know, with that amount of attacks, hopefully he's not rolling too many dice to try and kill on those 3s. It's worked in the past. It's a tactic that works for a friend of mine called Luke with his Russian inexperienced squad. Yeah, they're vulnerable to things like heavy mortars and artillery. They do like to run away. and if you keep them in reserve, quite honestly, you might not see them for a few turns. They're a pain in the backside. All inexperienced squads and vehicles, etc. Try to bring them on first wave if you can. Again, with regards the tactics for my second lieutenant, not only do I use them to boost morale of nearby squads, usually smaller squads, but I also like to capture objectives and also charge them into close combat, which, well, I do pretty much anything. If I could get away with it, I would. Yeah, my command teams have often done quite well and surprised my opponent. The air observer, it all depends on targets of opportunity. 9 times out of 10 I'll try and take out a vehicle. Recently played against Pete and we got a rule wrong. In the book it states that only if you get a strafing fighter, you only roll for +2 penetration against infantry, artillery and soft skin vehicles. It should also include armour in that, but you only get 1 attack against armour. It doesn't say that in the book. So we got the rule wrong, but as I say, it doesn't actually state in the book what you do against armour. So my observers in the past have taken out plenty of tanks. Sometimes hit and miss. Against Chris lately I rolled a 1 and he brought it in to attack some of my units, and wasn't that bad. They're okay at dealing out low amount of pins if you can get away with it, and yeah, the target that it hits usually gets a good battering, but like I say, sometimes it's a bit hit and miss, like all things, line with it. Okay, moving on to inexperienced squad, LMG squad. Now, I got the 500 point, well, pretty much all of my armies are the 500 point starter sets from Wargaming, and then you add a tank for a few quid, and then you boost the squads to, if you can, to veteran status, and the NCOs and everything, the officers and observers and everything, and that usually gives you around about 1,000 points. So that's what I went for with my squad, with my other army. Sorry, the Russians are slightly different because there aren't that many squads that you can actually boost up to veteran. They are usually set at inexperienced, regular or veteran. So with regards to the LMG squad, as I say, I got the 500 point starter army, and I had built a guard squad, which I'll show you in a minute, or an SMG squad anyway, and the inexperienced squad, and then I had loads of minis left over, but they were all prone, lying down, or kneeling as such. Now he is the unit's leader, NCO. Yeah, I've got a squad of those, 2 LMGs in the squad you can get away with, and the rest are armed with rifles. They can put down decent firepower, and you're going to get 8 shots at least from those LMGs. Like I say, you got 2 loaders, so they're kind of, it's really 3 shots. And yeah, they're okay at holding objectives, just a regular morale level. Yeah, they do well sometimes. Now, my last main Russian infantry squad is, as I say, an SMG squad. As you might have noticed with my inexperienced squad, they have helmets, LMG tail caps, and the SMG / guards squad, Siberian caps, bats. Can't remember what they're called now. Yeah, I've got 10 of yes, 10 of those in the squad. Sergeant's got an SMG as well, and they're good for obviously close assault. And that's what I generally use them for. They secured me a draw against Chris once, the very last assault of the term. Managed to assault and capture a building. The first game I ever played against Chris, actually, showing him the ropes, so to speak, and yeah, I still didn't beat him. so that's my main Russian infantry squads. Now for this list, 1500 points, I've also got 2 more squads. I have a squad of partisans. Now these are actually my very British Civil War militia, communist, well, militia for any faction really. I'll probably use them as communists, but they do for partisans, and they actually gaunt looking people. Nice miniatures though, love them. I'll do a review on them when I remember where I got them from, etc. Yeah, there with a shotgun. Technically, it's going to be a rifle him again. He's the leader. I've had to boost out this squad because I only had 8 of those. I only had 6 riflemen. Well, I had 4 riflemen, 1 LMG, which I'll show you. There's the LMG guy, it's a Lewis gun. And he goes with this guy, he's got a rifle, and they form a team, as you can see. So, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I only had 4 riflemen for this squad, so I had to boost them with 2 from 2 miners. Miners as in people who go underground, not kids. There's 1 miner, again communist militia. There's the other, and they will form a, as I say, a militia squad, not a people's militia squad. Sorry, they will form a partisan squad in this Russian army. And the people's militia squad, I've got 8 riflemen, just to boost numbers. And these are actually Spanish Civil War phalangists. Beautiful minis. I think these are Empress minis or possibly artisan, I'm not quite sure. Bought them a while back. So that's the infantry squads out of the way. Now because they're both inexperienced, the 8-man infantry squad isn't green. The 8-man People's Militia squad isn't green. Or is it the Partisan squad? One of them isn't green anyway. The other one is. The 8-man squad will be travelling around in style. They have. I hear that noise. They have this bad boy to travel around in. M3 scout car. Currently in United States colours. It's actually a 1/48 scale, so it's a little bit bigger than it should be for this. But I'm going to be using it in my very British Civil War army as a Canadian transport for the Albertines. More on those later. Now the scout car, I believe, is a regular or veteran even, perhaps. I will hold that in reserve and put an inexperienced squad in it. So when the car comes on, the squad comes on too, and I don't need a roll for the squad, which is a worse D6, 2d6 roll for those to come on, pass the morale check to come on. Hopefully outflank, if I can get an assault in against something like an artillery piece or something. And so be it. The scout car itself has a forward firing heavy machine gun, so maybe soft skin vehicles I'll be able to take out. And also has a pair, well, it has a left and rear arc medium machine gun and a right and rear arc medium machine gun. So if I reverse, potentially get 10 medium machine gun shots in. Bit tricky, bit dodgy, you know, but there you go. Oh, I didn't show you my aeroplane that goes with my observer. And it is a Polycarpov I-152, I believe. Used in the Spanish Civil War. Named it, butchering more foreign languages here. I think it's called a Chaika, which means seagull, I believe. From the wings, if you can see the top wing there, like a seagull's wings, armed with bombs, but obviously you get what you roll for in bolt action. But yeah, as I said on another video all about air power, you can have the model, but you roll for what type of aircraft you need. So if you want to go the whole hog and have, you know, straight from fighter, a dedicated ground attack aircraft and a fighter bomber, then go for it, knock yourself out. I'm actually quite close to that with the Russians, because I've also got an Ilyushin IL-2 3M, which is the ground attack aircraft of the Russians for World War II. And I think it was the most produced aircraft in the war as well. Something like 10,000 or something. He also went on to create the IL-10, which was used in the Korean War by the North Koreans, obviously. But yeah, I might get myself a fighter, because I can use the Chaika as a ground attack aircraft. The IL-2 is a dedicated ground attack aircraft, or medium bomber, so to speak. You know, it's got rockets and bombs and whatever. Yeah, get myself a little fighter, a little Yak 3 or something. Maybe a Yak 9, quite like a Yak 9. Okay, now tactics out the way for the inexperienced squads. As I say, they're there for plenty of shots, boost the numbers, hold objectives hopefully. Armour time, should I? Yes, I'll get the armour, I'll get the baby out. KV2, it's the Warlord plastic kit, absolutely love it. Very tempted to get another 2 for, actually it'd be another 4 for a Russian troop. A company even, I think. They have 5 tanks in the company. Love the model, hopefully with that big gun there. It's also got a flamethrower on, just boosting the points up, and I'm hoping Richard's seen my list, but I'm hoping he didn't notice that. It'll be a bit of a surprise. It's a slow vehicle, it only moves 6 inches. I believe it has armour 10 all around, or that might just be a KV1. It's slow traverse as well, which means that the first dice I draw out the bag, I can't use it on the KV2. I have to use it on a different unit, and then obviously if I want to choose the second dice, my second dice out the bag, then that's what I choose. Heavy howitzer, yeah, boom time, loving it. See how it goes, plenty of machine guns on it as well. There's a whole coaxial, or rather coaxial flamethrower, hull mounted, and a rear on the back of the turret with a machine gun as well. So yeah, you can turn that turret around and get your 10 MMG shots off, or like I say, a nice little flamethrower surprise. Speaking of flamethrowers, I do have a flamethrower team. There he is, he has the ROX 2 flamethrower. Because of the rise of snipers, there's his little lieutenant. Because of the rise of snipers and marksmen on the Eastern Front, the Germans often targeted flamethrower men first. So the Russians designed the ROX 2 to look like a rifle. It kind of does, except he's got a big pack on his back. I suppose you might not see that if he's coming towards you, but you might disguise that as well or something. And yeah, I'm hoping it's a virus to get into close enough range. Chris outflanked me with a flame team and caused quite a few casualties, so keeping that tactic in mind. I believe for the veteran, I'll put that points out. I also have a medium mortar team. Boomski. They have a spotter with them. This guy I usually use as my artillery or air observer, but as I say, I'm using him for the spotter for the mortar. Mortars, yeah, like to target units and buildings. I'm quite lucky with mortars actually hitting, but I usually use a light mortar, so I don't do that much damage. In the Road to Victory campaign coming up, this is the Russian army, all except I've only got 2 small LMG squads, like 6 men each. The 12-man inexperienced squad, junior lieutenants, and a heavy mortar and a T-70 and 2 trucks. Now the heavy mortar obviously will cause a fair bit of damage if I can roll those 6s, as I have been for me light mortar and Blood Bowl as well. And the T-70 classed as a light tank, which is what I roll for. Technically it's a medium tank with 1 lower armour. Again, the Russian army has both those and they do quite well, especially against me. Okay, so that's mortars out the way. I have an anti-tank rifle team. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've got a T-34-85, and the first time I ever used it was against a chap called Stuart Forres, or Force. Hope I'm not mispronouncing his name there. And it took ages for my inexperienced T-34-85 to come on the table from reserve. When it did come on, it lined up right next to this bad boy to take out some German half-tracks. Unfortunately, he miscast? He threw barred, turned around and shot the tank and immobilised it. So, yeah. And my T-34 has also been shot at by an allied Cromwell as well. Again, mine. So yeah, that's why he's not in this list. Quite frankly, he's sick of being shot at. The last of my squads, I actually have a sniper team, but I don't have him in this list. I like snipers, anti-sniper, obviously. And you take out little squads and stuff. I'm actually quite paranoid about snipers as well. When I set up, especially in small games, this 600 point league, when people have a sniper, it completely throws me, because I then set up to avoid that sniper at all costs, and yeah, it's a pain in the backside of what it does. Lastly, my medium machine gun team, gun shield in there. He's actually got glasses. Didn't know that. I'll have to paint some shades on them or something. Something like John Lennon, you know, a bit technicolor, bright red, for obvious reasons. And yep, there's my Russian army. The anti-tank rifle will target absolutely anything, even other snipers and small squads. If you hit, you pretty much kill them. I quite like that. Anti-infantry role, they do. And yeah, they're okay taking out small vehicles. I think I've taken out a Yeah, so I think there's a Willys Jeep taken out with that in the past. Sniper teams, I recall taking out obviously enemy snipers. Once took out one of playing Stuart. My sniper team actually took out his flamethrower and a squad of engineers. Sadly, there's no rules for, you know, everyone's seen, you know, Wind Talkers, where the flamethrower guy gets shot and boom, takes out a few other people. No rules for that. No rules for random artillery as well if you miss. You know, it's a shame that they don't, you know, just come in anywhere if he doesn't come in though. But okay, that's my Russians, I do believe. 1502 points. See how they get on today against Richard, and see how they get on in the future in this Road to Victory campaign, which I'm very much looking forward to a certain extent, because it's very, it's, you know, again with everything, it's a random element, what you get, what you roll for. I thought my heavy mortar and light tank was quite good rolling, but other people have rolled and got, you know, heavy tanks. Luke with his GS2, that's going to be hard to take out. Can't remember what else he got. A few lads have gone worse than me and just rolled for more infantry. Peter has gone and got 2 anti-tank destroyers. I'm not sure what Chris has got yet. I don't think he's rolled yet, but yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Some people have better forces than others. There's quite a few Russian players in this Road to Victory, including me, and there's quite a few German players, so hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be some kind of Eastern Front campaign. I know Steve, Chapadasgar, is running it. He's looking for a map. What that map is of, I don't know yet, but obviously it'll be a map-based campaign then. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with. He's a smart chap. I'm sure it'll be good. Yeah. Crikey, nearly half an hour into this now. That's me Russians. Mean Green Machine. Oh, one last thing, it's not on the list. Light mortar. I got the light mortar and the flamethrower team as a bundle kind of thing. So yeah, painted it up. Never used it yet. Likewise, I've never used the flamethrower yet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to today. Richard has written, he's written a few lists. But I think the main one he's going for is a Romanian force. There's a couple of anti-tank guns in there, so he's obviously shit scared of my KV2. Lots of infantry squads. So yeah, bring it on. Whatever that is in Russian. Bring it on, ski. Is that racist? Sorry if it is. Right. Toodle pip.